was like, wait, he loves me?
Now, who said it first?
I said.
Did you say it?
We may have to hop into a time machine.
Obviously, why are you staring at me? Looking at me like,
But I can't even really remember the context.
Grabbed her, brought her together.
It was you.
at me. I don't even remember.
Either.
But does it really matter? Who cares who says it first? As long as we know within our hearts, we love each other.
I fell in love with him fairly quickly. That's why we always say, like, time is not as important as it is. Time is, how did you word it? You word it better than me. Hold on.
The amount of time isn't as important as the quality of time.
Yes.
I mean, because we, in the first, I would say the first 30 days we knew each other, we had literally spent about 8 hours a day for like 27 of those 30 days together. So our month was really what most people take 3-4 months to spend that amount of time together with.
Yeah,
so,
some people even years, because it was COVID. So I was working from home and he was a personal trainer and the gym was closed. So we literally got to spend 24 hours with each other within 30 days, 24 hours every day for 30 days. So we just know that time doesn't matter. And we started dating, I think 2 weeks after we met, we made it official. I think so. So yeah, it was quick, but it felt right. Here we are.
Yeah.
The way I'm gonna be honest, like, you know, I don't want to sound like cliche, but when I asked her to marry me, right, it was me and her friend had got shot and killed. So when he got shot and killed, I was thinking like, man, like that could have been me because we were so close, you know what I'm saying? And like I was like, I got to marry this girl, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't ask her then, but I was like, I got to marry her. You feel what I'm saying? So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, straight up, like right then, like I knew she was gonna be my wife all throughout high school. I wanted her to be my wife, but when our friend basically got killed, that's when I was like, okay, I got the marriage corner. I got to. But I ain't had no money for no ring, man. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I didn't at first because, no, not like that. Because we were best friends, you know, trying to get over that hump. But once we got over that hump, you know, one thing how I knew and still know that he is the one for me is because I tell you this all the time. I think you already know what I'm going to say. We are literally the same person. Yeah. Like we think we are always vibing. Always. There's our connection is not forced at all. It's we vibe really hard with each other. We're always on the same page. Literally, this happens daily. I'm thinking something. I'm literally about to fix my mouth to say it. He beats me to it every single time. When we finally got over that hump of, you know, realizing that we were a couple and still best friends, but we're over that hump. And me seeing who he really, you know, seeing him in another light, put it like that, and being able to vibe with him and connect with him and understand that we're on the same page in so many ways. I really knew that he was the one for me.
That's easy. I mean, when we first started dating, I think I had to think about it a lot and make sure I was sure of myself, because I felt that way when we first started dating. But then I second guessed myself a million times. So, you know, you think about it. And I'm a long thinker. Sometimes it takes me a long time to come to a good decision, but once I do, it's done. It's a stuck decision. And I knew I just felt it when we started dating. You know, she's beautiful and she's kind and nice and had a lot of traits that I look for in terms of God-fearing woman. She's definitely a great mother. I knew she would be, you know, back in the day, because she's very caring and very nurturing.
I knew it kind of to piggyback off of what he said. When I withdrew from school and I went back home for a while, it was like, well, actually, it was one particular time we were both on like the track team. So that was the first time when I knew that, because he went to Tampa and I went home. It was like I forgot what holiday. I think it was Christmas break or something.
No, it was spring break.
It was, and so we were supposed to meet back up for a track meet
in
while
Atlanta.
we were out. Yeah, in Atlanta while we was off of spring break. I didn't make it back. He did, and he was so hurt. And I was actually
That's how I knew.
Yeah.
Because the whole time I was in spring break in Tampa, I kept thinking about her. I mean, in my mind, like I had all these visions and dreams. I was gonna run up to her and we're gonna run to each other. And so I remember getting to the Greyhound, getting to I call it the Amtrak.
Yeah, I think.
Or Greyhound. I called one of them back to Atlanta from Tampa. And I got there, I had no transportation. I didn't know how I was gonna get there. I literally just borrowed some money from somebody, got on the Amtrak, drove me and got to Atlanta.
I'm gonna tell you this. I had a goal. I had my goal. I said next time if I get a woman, I'm just gonna, I'm
say
just
it. Say it. Go ahead. Be real.
All right, dude, don't judge me, y'all. I said the next woman I'm getting, I'm dogging them out because I've been hurt so many times. I got tired of getting hurt. Tired of girls playing games, playing mind games. I ain't got time for it. But this one right here, she choked. It's something special about her.
Okay, I'll tell you what. No, it's kidding. So we went to actually okay, I'll tell every guy this. Let me tell you, guys, are y'all listening? Let me tell you something. When you can take them home to mama, and mama is cool and approved, oh, she's a nice girl, blah, 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 blah. And then you also get to meet their mom and her parents. I got to meet your parents, right? I got to know who your mom is because I've learned that your mom is you, right? Or you're going to be your mom in the future or whatever, right? So I met a mom. My mom was a really nice lady. She was great. She was really sweet. She was nice to me and everything. There wasn't drama at our house. It was just nice and peaceful. And that tells a story about her later on in life. So that was clue number one.
For a while, I was just kind of like waiting around, for him to pop the question. But yeah, I just knew, before we started dating, I wanted my person. So even though I was still in college, I was just like, God, I prayed and I was like, God, please bless me, with a man that meets these characteristics. And then I kid you not, maybe like a few weeks later, that's when we started talking and started dating. And so I just knew that that he was the one that God had sent to me because, he met all those characteristics that I was looking for. And I don't know, I just felt it. I just felt it in my heart that we were meant to be together.
In college, a lot of the ladies were just selfish. What are you going to do for me? And where can we go? When you going to take me to such and such? So it was just like a bunch of that. And again, I've always worked. I've always had my own car ever since I started working. I've just always had my own stuff. And I've been, I worked, so I had, a little money, especially for college days. I could buy a bottle of liquor.
A bottle of Ciroc,
that was me.
You were balling if you could buy some Ciroc.
I had the Ciroc bottle, the big Ciroc bottle. But in all of that, in that whole struggle, that whole rat race, there was Stacy, and Stacy just moved different and did stuff different. When you think about when Stacy took a trip home and maybe she found some meat on sale, she would just bring something back. Hey, I got something for you as well. Because I know you like chicken, so I got you some chicken that you can put in your freezer.
I know that Joe was the one for me because my mom always my parents always instilled in me to pray for your husband before you get the age of dating. So I've been praying for my husband since I was maybe 13. And when we started to get to know each other, I just knew it right there. God was telling me he's the one.
Our vibe over dinner is how I knew Watson was the one. And it's funny because when I moved back to New York, I had my mindset on like getting married and preparing for the future because my 20s were coming to an end, honey. Okay. And I was like, okay, when you get back to New York, you really have to put your life in perspective and really start planning the next 10 years because we running out of time and you ain't getting no younger, honey. Okay. So when we met and we got to talk, first of all, I fell in love with Watson's cooking. Okay. This man can throw down, honey. Okay. You better go ahead with that steak, baby. Okay. That's what he made. He had made steak, I think macaroni and cheese and green beans.
It was string beans.
String beans, green beans, same thing to me, honey. Okay. Yeah, so we had dinner. We were able to talk. And from there, it was just magic. You know what I mean? But I think the conversation, us laying everything on the table when we first met each other, is how we knew we could trust each other and go forward from there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When you can be, when you have great communication with the person, that lets you know where you're going. So that's how I knew Watson was the one for me.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, we've been friends, and a lot of the same things that you see that you're like I was involved in. Like she loves God. She's family orientated because growing up, when we grew up, I was taking care of my brothers and sisters. She was watching her brother and her nieces and nephews. So there's some things, some qualities that I got to see, with her being family oriented and responsible, having to be responsible early. And not to mention that, she was looking good. You know what I'm saying? She always getting her hair done. You know what I'm saying?
Time that I really recall, and it kind of goes back to us being in college. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and I remember her just really being there for me throughout that time. Any of my Greek members out there, exactly, how that process could be mentally. And, just her being there, always asking me if I needed anything, things that I didn't expect her to do, nor did I ask her to do. She just wanted to do it free willingly. So that was definitely a big factor when it came to me, wanting to actually pursue her, because I wanted somebody like that who was kind-hearted, that was very attentive, and, somebody that could be there for me no matter what.
Y'all, he put me through the ringer. You know how most women, they put their men through the ringer, put through all these tests and stuff. No, this man had the nerve to tell me, I'm going to keep it 100. This man had the nerve to tell me, because he'd been dogged out or whatever, when we finally got together, or like even before you asked me to be your woman, he was like, yeah, you're going to have to prove to me that you want me in your life. And I said, hold up. At that moment, I was like, I don't even want this dude. Like, that was a complete turn off. But then, like, I was like, you know what? This man has been hurt. I heard his stories and stuff like that. But then I was like, you got some nerve to tell me that I got to prove to you that I want you in my life or whatever. I was like, are you serious? I was so heated. I'm still heated about that. But
look at us now.
But I was like, this man, I was like, no, men don't do that.
Well, in the beginning, I was like, well, she's tall, very tall. That's the first thing that got my attention. She was very tall. Mm-hmm. And let's know each other. I mean, she's a very smart woman. I am not going to deny that. She was a very smart woman, very intelligent. Besides being attractive as well. And tall and all that. But I mean, her attitude, her mentality was just different. And I'm also attracted to that. Her desire to do things different and things like that. I would just challenge stuff like, let's do this or let's plan something different, things like that. It's just her way. She just got me. And with the time, she still got me on that.
Yeah. When I finally got the money for the ring, I asked her to marry me, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna lie, I was like, I'm gonna wait till she get her degree. I can't lie to y'all. I said, as soon as she get that degree, I'm gonna lock her down. As soon as she get that degree.
I got a question though, but like, what made you decide that, okay, I want to be with her. I want to spend the rest of my life with her. I mean, I understand, like you saying, like that could have been the end for you, but what made you want to do it with me?
I mean, it was just, I don't know, man. Like you were dope. You were a dope person, and like honestly, I gotta keep it 100, man. I ain't want to see her with nobody else, bro. I'm just gonna be real. Like it ain't the fact that I loved her and I wanted her to be with me forever, but there's a lot of guys out there who love their woman. You know what I'm saying? But they like, for me, it was different. It was more than love. It was like loyalty. You know what I'm saying? She was loyal to me. She never told me anything that was gonna hurt me. She always had my best interest at heart, and I was like, I don't want her to share this with nobody else but me. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be selfish and I'm gonna go ahead and take off the market. And it was just that. I knew she was gonna say yes. Like that was, I knew that. You know what I'm saying? But it was just like great timing. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So how I knew I wanted her to be my wife, man, she was just dope, man. Like she's like the female version of me. You know what I'm saying? So I had to lock it down. I had to cuff her up.
And shoot, when we was going to church, we was always trying to be the baddest. So she was looking good every day, and she was smelling good. You know what I'm saying? And she's a good friend. She's a good heart. You know what I'm saying? We were really good friends. You know, we talked. She went and got her license. I think I was the first person she came and showed that she got her license. And we used to, you know, this was before everybody was getting cars. We used to walk to Walmart and to the bank and any little errands.
Or ride bike. I used to ask to ride his bike.
Yeah, any little errands that her mom would ask her to do, she would come to get me, or same vice versa. So we were really good friends, and I knew that it determined I wanted her to be my girlfriend, and then it progressed into her being my wife.
When we first started talking, Christy would always encourage me to do good in my college work. She'd ask me how I was doing in it. She would push me, you know, to be the best I can be and just to do good in college so I can just keep improving myself. And that's when I kind of realized that she's the one, because everybody else that I've been with throughout high school and then a little bit of college, no one ever really, I wouldn't say care about my future like that, but no one really pushed me the way she pushed me. So for me, it was more like a motivation type thing. I never had a girl or a woman motivate me that much to just do the best I can do in life and just make myself better. That's how I knew she was the one.
We became friends, and she was listening. You know, we could talk, we could do whatever. That made a big deal for me, to be able to talk to you without arguing with you, and you know, and just have a conversation. Like I said, to be friends for me was number one. I ain't trying to jump in the bed with you before I even know you and all that kind of stuff. That I won't build on nothing. So to be friends was amazing to me. So yes, I knew she was the one about that time. You know, I'm just easy to get along with, easy to talk to, easy to do things with. And 22 years later, still kicking.
If you didn't think I was the one, but found out I was the one, just tell the truth.
Oh God. Okay. Well, when I found out he could cook, I was like, I mean, that was new for me. You know, I never had nobody to cook for me besides my mom. So when he started cooking, and then, you know, he was just like, well, he's still really, really sweet. And that just took the cake. He's just a sweetheart.
I got there, didn't know how to get to the hotel where I thought they was going to be at, where the whole track meet was going to be at. I have seen this big figure in this religious organization that I was a part of from many years ago. I was literally sitting down like, oh my God, how am I going to get to this hotel? And I looked up and there it goes. Like imagine you somewhere and you look up and they go TD Jakes, whatever. So I looked up and there's this iconic figure in this religious group we was a part of. Walking by, I'm like, hey, you know my parents. He's like, come with me. And he literally dropped me off at the hotel. I don't think I said bye to him. I literally got in the car, ran to the hotel. I like, me, I'm here. And coach came out like, hey, why you so loud? I'm like, where me? I'm banging on the door. Where me at? Big Pat, where me at? They're like, me didn't make it. I'm like, what you mean she didn't make it? Like, yeah, her stepfather says that
I think he didn't want to bring.
He didn't want to bring up, man, and it was so hurt, man.
Yeah.
I literally, now you talking about someone crying, like I was literally in tears. I was so sad, so hurt, man. I was stuck there because I couldn't. I'm in Atlanta now, so I had to deal with the track and run track without me. And I called me like, you didn't want to take me up there.
Yeah, that was. I think for both of us, that was really when we knew, like, at the same time. Besides, like other instances when we were had a little time apart, but that one was in fact the first one that we knew.
Right.
Or I knew.
But at Southern, there was a thing called Sweetheart Circle. I'll keep it really brief, but legacy has it that if you walk around Sweetheart Circle a certain number of times with your sweetheart, then you guys will be together forever. And this was when the college was separated, male and female. They couldn't dorm together. I don't know about going to class, but they were, for the most part, separated. But the one time that they had together was on Sweetheart Circle. So there was like a little sentimental meaning and sentimental thing to it. And we went and we had a picnic on Sweetheart Circle. And she's like, yeah, I just need you to meet me. You know, let's go. She had packed everything, the blankets, some candles, fruit, like a little meat tray. So it was just different. It was different. Definitely a breath of fresh air compared to, again, everything else that I had experienced and had been experiencing at the time.
No.
You know, where we from, y'all had to prove to us, you know. But
See,
it's
y'all
like,
see.
but I'm not that person no more. I'm just saying though, you did what you said you could do. You was there for me. I ain't had nothing. You was by my side. You never left me. And I thank you for that.
Oh, okay. You redeem yourself.
Fast forwarding to getting married and actually proposing, you know, just spending that time together. And I mean, this is a show, you know, I'm not going to make it seem like everything was all sweet. Like, we used to argue a lot when we were actually getting together. Like, after the first date and when we actually began to be a couple, we argued like almost every day. Just because, as like she mentioned, we are kind of like the same person, you know, so it just really took us to just sit down and just begin to increase our communication, better understand one another, because I think the disconnect was that lack of communication, you know, having expectations of, oh, we were best friends, so we should know each other. But in fact, you made that next step forward and actually forward and over to become a couple. And that's different than being best friends. So I think it just took us to understand each other more and just communicate what we wanted. We're more importantly able to make those modifications to our relationship in efforts of pursuing marriage. So that is how I knew that she is the one for me.
Absolutely. And we took a marital class before we got married. And one thing that the minister said was, you know, if you have expectations, remove them right now. You should not have expectations in your marriage because, you know, man will always fail you. The flesh is going to always fail you. So never have expectations that way. You never, you know, you don't have to experience the fail part of it. So
right.
That was some really good advice.
It was, absolutely.
You have to remember, the storms are always coming, but it's how you endure the storm.
And with me, myself, I would say that the only way you can be able to withstand the tough times is that you have to go through something. The good times, every day of being a good time, I would be concerned about it. I would be worried because there's no way in the world you can live in this life and nothing ever go wrong. And to any new couple or, you know, a couple that is, you know, that's struggling, we all have to understand that we are human. We gonna make human errors. We need forgiveness. So we got to learn how to forgive one another. We got to learn how to love one another. And that starts with first having a relationship with the Lord.
Communication.
Keep people out your business. Keep family, cousins, aunties, parents, girlfriends, homeboys. Keep everybody.
Because they are going to judge. Like, y'all can be back together and everything's fine, and you know y'all both got an understanding of whatever happened, but those other people still gonna have that story in their head. So definitely keep people out.
And they ain't gonna last long, but you will. Like as many times me and me start off in the early part of our marriage, and we used to act a fool and cut up, and people be a witness to it. But now these people got inside information that like they not even around. So now these people got all this intel on you that they didn't add value to your relationship. Eventually they made the relationship worse. So we definitely communicate. It took us maybe 10 years to home in on the communication part, but everything we do, we talk it out. We haven't argued in many years. So communicate, pray.
God has to be first.
Keep God first. That's why we named it God first. Because you got to keep God first. We pray every morning and every night. Make sure that you keep wherever that got y'all together. Keep that going. So continue dating. We wasn't dating, but we do everything together.
The advice I would suggest is to keep God first, in the middle of your marriage, in the center of your marriage. Thank God that we are both believers of Christ. We're very active together in the church, ministry wise, and so we're not unequally yoked. So it's very helpful to continue to build your marriage when you're on one accord. Also, communication is key, and even 22 years later, we still can improve. But communication is very, very important. Even the smallest things can get, I don't even know the word I'm trying to use, but just try to communicate as much as you can with your spouse, even if you think it doesn't matter. But as long as you keep an open line of communication, it will help keep your marriage strong.
Oh man, definitely pick your battles, because you're gonna have a lot of them. So especially early on, as you're like learning each other and you're growing, and you're living together, and you're merging these two separate lives. It's a lot. So pick your battles. You can't argue over everything. You can't, make everything this big, huge mountain. And you'll learn, as you go along, that some things are just so small, it's just not even worth it. So you got to compromise on some things too. But yeah, just, pick your battles, listen to one another.
Love your partner. Always appreciate them, for everything they do. You should always be your partner's number one fan. And, people have dreams and goals. It's important that you guys align together. You might have different perspective in the way you grow up, with the families or your culture and stuff like that. So it's important that when you guys come together, you need to realize that it's not all about me anymore. It's now us. So there has to be a lot of compromise. You have to work together to meet each other in the middle. You have to let go of certain things. The other partner has to let go of certain things, just so that you guys can be in agreement, to figure out a way to work things out together.
So definitely first it starts with communication. Well, that's the number one thing, is being able to talk to your significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, whatever. You have to be vulnerable with that person. Like, you can't hold anything back. If you feel a certain type of way, then you need to say it. If you have an opinion about something, you need to say it. Like, you can't hold anything back, because that's when those issues start building up. And you won't be able to make it through that way. Also, I feel like you need to know each other's triggers and understand each other's behaviors. So like me and Donovan, we're very much alike. We're both Pisces. Our birthdays are like a week apart. So we act exactly the same way. So when something's bothering us, we both like shut down. And so we have to understand how each other moves and shakes when there's issues or concerns or whatnot, so that you know how not to trigger that person, or what to do to get them out of some type of, rut or whatever issue that they're going through. You have to really understand who you're with or who you married, in order to get through hard times.
Some advice that I would give to a new couple is just to, like, any women who are dating somebody new, I would just say, be fearless. Like, I know a lot of women go in with their guards up, and they're probably expecting men to be a specific way because of somebody they experienced in the past. And they're kind of like holding themselves back a little bit. Like, don't be in your way, be fearless, give love a chance. Like, you can't be afraid to get hurt. Because things are gonna happen. Like, even in marriages, like, marriages aren't perfect. Life isn't perfect. So things are gonna happen. Just, you gotta give it your all, because you just never know. Like, I don't know. You could be blocking your blessings. So just be fearless. That's my number one piece of advice.
Just making sure that you have a strong foundation. I think, ensuring that you have a strong foundation to build off of, because just like we know in construction, you don't have a strong foundation, it's going to crack, right? And so just making sure that you have a strong foundation to build off of, and whatever that foundation is for you, right? If you're spiritual, if you are, if you're big on like goals and making sure that y'all on the same page, whatever that is, then make sure that your foundation is strong and it's solid. I know for us, it's spiritual, it's communication, it's making sure that we're pouring into one another all the time, because he is my investment and I'm his, and so just making sure that I'm always uplifting him, helping him grow, and he's doing the same for me. So I'm making sure that you're on the same page about those things, making sure that we're praying together, we're in the word together. When we're raising our son, make sure we're on the same page about that, because it's the small things that can do a snowball effect and make it a big situation. So just making sure that you're on the same page and you have that strong foundation to never let the snowball effect take place in your marriage or in your relationship.
My advice would be to always keep God first in your marriage. Don't take each other for granted. Communicate. If you're mad with one another, say, hey, I'm sorry, let's talk about it before we go to bed, because you don't know when may be the last time you may see each other. Just communication. Always put God first. Never stop dating each other.
I would honestly say communication, and be honest. Like, don't be afraid to say certain things, because there was a situation a couple of months ago that was pretty tough for us, because I had like a triggering moment because of some stuff in my past. And I told Marcus, like, you can't word stuff like that to me, because it doesn't make me feel good. And I was saying, he said, what did you say? He said, okay, I won't do that again. Apologize. And I said, no, it's okay. And Marcus said, no, it's not okay. You say thank you for considering my feelings and move on. He's like, no one should ever, if someone loves you, they will never make you feel any type of negative way. And when he said that, y'all, like, I was about to cry even more, because I was just like, this man is beautiful. Like, I've never thought of things like that before. So I wasn't afraid to tell him, like, hey, this is a trigger for me. And hey, you can't say this like that. And he was listening and said, okay, I won't do that anymore. And we just grew from there. Like, it's communication for us.
It's not about being an individual anymore.
Yeah,
there's too many people that we see where they still trying to be them individuals. It's not just you. It's two people now. You have to be considerate, and it's all about compromise.
Right. That's exactly right. I mean, we see people, and one thing we don't like to be done is put on a pedestal and say, oh, because a lot of people see us and they say, we love you guys' relationship, and there's a lot of hard work to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of give and take, and a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't see, as far as, like she said, compromise. And sacrifice, and you stick with it. There's no going your separate ways when you decide to become a couple. You decide that you're going to work it out. And I believe every day you open your eyes, you get a chance to do better and make things right. And so it's helped us out all the way along the way. We figure everything out. You get to a point to where, because me, when we met, we were kids, so I had a best friend that and he still is my best friend today. But
he's the kid's godfather,
right?
Now.
But this has become my best friend. We love to hang out together.
Yeah.
We love to eat, shop, movies, just everything. You know what I'm saying? So
compromise is definitely one, because people grow and they change to different things come in your life, and you got to figure it out as a couple and not just one person. And I think a lot of people get lost in mind and not ours. And when you're married and you want to stay that way, you got to think about ours and what we're doing for us. I think another one is communication. And I say that about communicating with that person, but learn how you communicate and internally you need to communicate with that person, because I am
And
a person.
express that
Yes,
too.
so that
Yeah.
part of it is, oh, how do I express what I'm thinking to Shanika, because she thinks a lot different from I do. Like I said earlier, I think about myself for a long time, and she may be like, I want it right now, and I'm like, I don't know, like I don't know the answer right now, but let me think about it. And so it eventually come to me, and I think it took a while for us to learn that we got different communication styles, and it's like, oh well, I need to say something.
It helps when you have a lot in common. So to be honest, like I didn't care for sports in the beginning, and sports is very popular in my home. So instead of me saying I'm not going to be a part of it, I just joined them. So now I know a lot about basketball, football. So instead of us being separate and you go in the other room, hey, let's just do it together. So we rode together to Cowboys game. Well, Mavericks, and so we're sports fans, and I like that because now we have more things in common. So just try to find things that you like in common. We love to travel, things like that. So I think that's very important.
Yeah, okay. Like my piece of advice would be to my fellas, man. Like I'm gonna just say this right here, like because the fellas, we tend to want to be players, and we tend to want to do this, and we tend to think that we got it all wrapped up, and that our woman ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna say this right here: anything that you can do, your woman can do. So before you go out and try to do something, you know what I'm saying, you need to think about that. Like whatever I can do, she can do. You know what I'm saying? And for me, it's all about loyalty. Like a lot of people big on love, but I'm big on loyalty because you can be disloyal to somebody and still love them. You did what I'm saying? But when you loyal to somebody, you just loyal to them. Like I just feel like right now I can make Quantum mad, but because of the loyalty she has for me, if old boy at the grocery store try to get her, she's like, no, I got a dude. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm mad at him right now, he my dude. Get back, going on. You know what I'm saying? Because she loyal. You know what I'm saying? And another piece of advice I can give is just you got to be friends with your significant other, man. I know a lot of people don't want to do that, but you got to be partners. You got to be friends. You feel what I'm saying? Like you got to be able to tell your significant other everything. You feel what I'm saying? So that means don't be out there doing anything because you need to be able to tell them everything. You feel what I'm saying? I just live by that. Like I tell everybody, like she more than my wife. She my friend. She my business partner, man. She my dog. You know what I'm saying? We click like that. You feel what I'm saying? And just do that. Make your significant other your friend and keep folks out your business. Keep folks out of your business. They're like the number one thing.
Oh yeah.
Don't tell nobody your business. Your mama, your daddy, your cousin, no, your best friend. As far as they know, y'all happy.
We do the same thing, y'all.
Facts.
We keep everything on ourselves.
Yeah.
I don't care if it was bad. Nobody ever knew.
Nobody ain't gonna know nothing.
I would say communication number one.
Okay, you took my answer. You better go ahead.
And patience.
Yeah.
And I would also say know each other's habits, each other's moods, each other's needs, and each other's wants.
Okay.
And if you can work with your partner, if you can work with your partner, whatever you're doing, then you can live with the person. If you know all these things, then you can tolerate the person and live with the person throughout that whole time. And also keep God first and keep people out your business.
Amen. Definitely keep God first and keep people out your business.
Say, like, not to sound like cliche or anything, but yeah, communication is key. And I say that because on like personal levels, like we have gone through things, and I know that we all as people have gone through things. So communication is key, and learning how to communicate to where not only you're heard, but that you're also hearing your other person. Cause like there's always gonna be like boundaries or like walls up, and you have to learn how to get through as well as also receive. And another thing too, especially like with us, you're always going to be changing. Yeah. Now, on the outside looking in, I was in the military when I met DeMarcus. But what a lot of people didn't know about me was I was at a low point in my life. And so even then, he has seen me go through so many changes as I've seen him. And to any young couple, or even like, a couple that's been together for 10 years, like, you're gonna constantly change and evolve. You're not gonna be the same person. And it is important to evolve and change together, or even not together. Kind of pay attention to the other person and know that that person that you met in the beginning is not going to be the same person 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line, because we evolve and grow.
So it's important to be patient.
Teamwork.
Teamwork, work as a team. Also, transparency is key for us. We've noticed that when it comes to finance, it's been one of the main things that ruin relationships. So transparency is very important. It's important for both of you. If you both are making incomes or whatnot, try to be transparent about it. It's not her money or his money, it's y'all money, right? You guys are working together to grow, to build together, So it's important to be transparent. Also, forgiveness is another one. Learn to forgive your partner. People make mistakes, as long as it's not a continuous thing that becomes like, okay, it's a behavior, okay? That's not a mistake anymore. So
one thing that you say very often is seek to understand instead of trying to be understood. And that just goes back to, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So if any situations are to arise, in the bout of your marriage or your actual relationship, just hear one another out. I think oftentimes we try and rush to defend ourselves instead of trying to figure out what exactly the issue is and what the other person may have saw. Because one thing you can't take away is the way they felt, is the way you made them feel. Regardless of what you have to say, understand to figure out how you made them feel in that situation and come to a common ground to address those needs. So moving forward, you don't revisit that situation or, any like that.
So the key thing is, if you don't, this example, not communicating, right? So you don't communicate, you just let it build up. It's boiling inside of you, it's boiling inside of you. And you just like, And everything you do now, all of a sudden, you're just looking at them. Everything they do is just getting on your nerves. Why? Because you haven't communicated the real problem or the real situation that's bothering you. And so all they got to do is just, you walking, you sitting on the couch and they step on your toe. Why you step on my toe? I'm sick of you stepping on my toe. Why? No. And it just blows up into something crazy. And it wasn't even got nothing to do with your toe. It's all about whatever the situation was that was in the past or whatever. A couple of days before that, 3 days ago, you mad because something happened and you didn't say nothing. But then, you want to wait. They step on your toe. Now you mad. You blowing it all out of proportion. And they thinking, dude, I just stepped on. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I stepped on your toe. But it ain't about the toe. It's about whatever happened before. So we got to get that out. Put it out. Get it out there so everybody knows what's going on and communicate, like she said, to keep the situation calm and understandable. And that is the key to a great relationship to me and to us, rather.
Definitely. I think a lot of times for couples, you have to dig deep to understand why it is that you're together. And just know that, if you are married, you made a commitment for a lifetime. That doesn't mean that things don't happen and, whatever. But I mean, at the core, when you decided to be with that person, relationship, marriage, whatever, you decided that, hey, I want to be with this person for a lifetime through thick and thin. And this is my battle buddy. This is the one person that I have when I don't have anything else, when I don't have anyone else. I have this person. And it's like, if you start thinking about, hey, I actually have a lifelong best friend. We won't always get along. We won't always see eye to eye. But as long as we respect each other, even in our differences, and just make sure that we're always working towards a common goal and always thinking about that other person, then you really will have a lifelong friend.
Yeah, and it has to be genuine and honest. And I tell guys all the time, look, this whole thing about lie to your wife to make her happy, don't do that. Don't do that. If she makes if she cooks something and it's nasty, tell her it's nasty. Because if you tell her you like it, you're gonna have to eat that for the rest of your life. Yep. And just be honest, because that's how both people can actually be happy, and you don't have any petty arguments because he left a pair of underwear on the floor, or she got out the shower and left a puddle on the floor and your socks got wet.
I'm sorry.
You don't argue about that stuff. You mention it and you just move on because there's no deep-seated resentments there.
Mm-hmm.
And back to the question.
Listen to each other.
Listen, communicate, have fun, and laugh. That's one thing we do. We laugh all the time, most time at each other. Yeah, we are our biggest critic. But prayer, communicate, laughter, have fun.
Date every day.
Keep the intimacy going.
Keep people out your business. Those are the
That's
main
it.
things.
That's the main. I said those 5 things.
Yeah, and I think too, coming from a woman's perspective, this is something just that I saw in myself like early on, and then I've also seen it like with my friends too, is that nobody's a mind reader. So you really have to be expressive. You have to say what you want. You have to communicate what your needs are, and they may change. You know, you may not have the same needs that you had, you know, like for us 10 years ago. You know, we're different people. Our lives are different now. Our needs are different. So you have to, it's constant work, marriages. It's not just you get married and that's it. You have to continue to work on it, continue to grow as you grow individually and as you grow together. So just, again, going back to what Carrie said, communicating and, you know, expressing, you know, what you need. And also not trying to be right all the time. It's like, do you want to be right or you want to be happy? So you have to you have to make that choice too. So yeah, those are some of the biggest things that I would communicate. And also, your marriage is your marriage. It doesn't have to be like anybody else's. Who you all are different people. You're different individuals. So you don't have to be. Your marriage doesn't have to be. There's no one way to have a marriage or to be in a marriage. So make it what you want it to be. Live how you want to live. Have fun. Don't forget why you chose each other, why you said I do. You can always come back to that in the good times and the bad times.
That is the only way. And like she said, you got to want to make it work. And one thing you have to understand too is when you have a relationship with the Lord, even though you have a relationship with the Lord, he still give you a choice. He give you a choice to be in that relationship or not, or that marriage or not. He will give you and make the way for you, but it's up to you if you gonna travel that road. It's up to you to follow the directions. And as a couple, as a man, and I speak to the men, being a leader of a marriage or a relationship does not mean just making the money and paying the bills. That is not being a leader. That is being a provider. But when you're being a leader, you have to be able to pull your family together in the time of needs and be able to pray for your family, pray over your family. You have to be able to guide them together spiritually in the Lord.
I would say motivate each other. Motivate each other to be a better husband, better wife, better father, better mother, better person overall. Just motivate each other to do the best that you can do. Try new things, do new things, explore, get out and explore. You know, just live in the moment.
Yeah.
Live in the moment and take it one day at a time. I mean, if you really love each other and you really mean it, then in reality, you got your whole life together. So take it one day at a time. You don't have to rush. Just live your life and enjoy it.
I was going to bring up love language. Like, that's important. Because sometimes people try to give love the same way they want to receive love. And everybody isn't, you know, they don't love the same or want to be loved the same way you want to be loved. So I think that's important because you could, you know, be putting your all into a relationship and saying like, oh, I did this for her. I did that for her. Why is it that she doesn't love me the way I love her? Maybe because you're loving her the wrong way. You're not loving her the way she wants to receive love. And Danny and I just recently learned more about that because we took the time to understand what each other's love language is, and it's not the same. Even though I did know him forever. Like he doesn't receive love or wish to receive love the way I wish to receive love. So, you know, like don't treat somebody the way you want to be treated.
Yeah. You gotta treat them. You gotta treat them the way they want to be treated. And fellas, believe me, man, your lady gonna let you know everything. You just gotta pay attention to her.
Oh
You know what I'm saying? She gonna let you know stuff without even telling you. You just gotta pay attention and
to the signs.
Yeah, and one more thing, fellas, don't be afraid to take the back seat. You know what I'm saying? I know we've been raised that I'm the man of the house, is God, the man, the woman, then the kids. But you know what I'm saying? That's cool though. That's cool too, because it is like that. But sometimes, like I'm telling you, women, they know everything. And I know, and I know I'm messing up right now. A lot of fellas gonna be like, bro, what are you doing? But I'm telling you, they know everything. Like I'm telling you, like listen to them. Like when your girl tell you, hey, I don't think you should do that. Don't do it. When she tell you, hey, you need to stay out from riding up. Don't go riding up. You know what I'm saying? Because that female intuition thing that they got, that it works for real. Like no cap. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's about all the advice that I would give like a couple who trying to come up and trying to, you know, trying to lock it in. Into the couples who already been in, don't be so quick to throw in the towel, man. Make it work out, man. It ain't nothing like love. Love is a beautiful thing.
Really, because we've been together for so long and it has been successful, like throughout the whole marriage, relationship, before marriage. Like we have a lot to say, but we're gonna wrap it up right here. We'll just put it in a book later on.
Yeah, sure. So y'all
we'll keep y'all posted.
Yeah, stay looking for that book, man.
Pretty much. Yeah, those are some of the things, the few things that we'll say. Also, another thing we'll say, it doesn't matter what the world thinks. If you love each other, be there for each other.
No matter color, religion.
Not everybody will always accept your relationship, but love conquers.
Invest time in each other. I know there'll be some things that you want to do that you hang on to, but see yourself with a little give and take. Like, you know, if you got to watch some Notebook love stories, you know, take it in. Yeah, take it in. You know what I'm saying? And then she'll do the same where she'll watch some of my basketball or football games. But actually, what I've learned is just having her in the room, whether she's paying attention or not, to what I'm actually doing is special. So.
Right. And also, everybody is not worth your sacrifice or your what's the word? Compromise. Everybody's not worth it. So, you know, you got to make sure that person is worth it, and you're not going to be willing to just, you know, sacrifice and compromise with anybody. So if they're worth it, you'll know it, and you'll be willing to go that extra mile.
Also, more importantly, date one another. Although you're married, that does not take away the art of dating. Continue to date, and dating doesn't always have to be spending money. It could be just spending quality time, watching a Netflix movie, you know, playing your favorite board game or video game. You know, just continue to blossom that relationship, because one thing people don't realize is you see all the time people that are married for 20 and 30 years are getting actually divorced, and you're like, that's 30 years. Like, what happened? They don't know each other like they thought they did. So you can always learn from each other every single day. As long as y'all are together, you can always learn something. This is my wife. I don't know everything about her. I know a lot of things, but it's some things that I may not know until that situation happens for that to come out for me to know, you know. But that's one thing we always try to make sure that we know one another, because I truly believe if there was some data done, a lot of people don't know their spouse like they think they do. You know, so just understanding, you know, that strange look they may give, or understanding, you know, their posture in certain situations, so you can best, you know, address those situations, so that way you all can continue to stand on a sturdy foundation and continue to elevate. So that would be our pieces of advice to any current marriages, as well as anyone looking to pursue that next step in getting married.
Always remember the good times, celebrate the wins, and just remember that that person, whoever you're having difficulty with, is your lifelong best friend. And if you look at it that way, then it will definitely help to navigate those difficult times for you personally, or for you guys as a couple.
The only other thing I think I learned from my parents is that just made a decision that they was going to stay married. And I asked them, you know, how y'all been married for 43 years? Well, they said 43 years ago, we decided we were going to stay married and we were going to stick it out. And so I think that's something I always think about. If I'm upset, how do I work through it? Because I know I ain't going nowhere. And so how do I make it so that, we continue to move forward? Because, ultimately I'm here and you stuck. So there's that. You stuck with me.
So, you got to be on one accord. I like what Kina said earlier about equally yoked. If you are not equally yoked, good luck. That doesn't necessarily mean you both have to be doctorate degrees and all that stuff. What I'm saying, equally yoked, we're heading in the same direction. We're growing together. I'm growing. If I'm growing and you're not growing, we got a problem. It's not going to work. If I'm growing and I'm consistently trying to improve myself, but you still over here doing your thing, it ain't going to work. But I tell you what, two crackheads will be the best people in the world. You're a crackhead, I'm a crackhead, we crackheading together, and you be fine, right? But if I'm a crackhead, you're not a crackhead, you try to do your life, but I'm burning up all the money on my crack, I don't even know how to do it, but whatever. Then that ain't gonna work. So you have to be equally yoked. You have to be heading in the same direction. One can't exit the freeway and the other one's still rolling. That ain't gonna work because you didn't try to find a detour and I'm still rolling, like wondering where you are. So we can't, ain't happen. So, but be on one accord, know where you're going, find out, which direction you're going in.
Not just saying, okay, you have to ask me that, or whatever go on in here. It's my say so. I'm the man of the house. You can always say you're the man of the house, but it's a difference between being a man of the house and being a God-fearing man of your home. Because see, we have to have the Lord in any relationship in order for it to work. But God will not force anything on you that you do not want to work. And if it's not there, if you don't have the Lord in it, you might as well count your days.